Okay, here we go. All
Yeah.
right. There was no chit chat this time
There was
around.
no chit chat. We were both like,
We usually
woo.
chit chat.
Yeah.
It's because my throat hurts. My throat hurts so bad, but it's okay right now because of my tea.
Very good
Thank
tea.
God.
And what are you
Because of my
drinking?
tea. Oh, it's every time I'm sick, I drink the same tea. It's like lemon and echinacea,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put in more lemon, and then I put in some strawberries because it can get really tart and really spicy because I use hot honey, right? That's why when I get sick, it doesn't last longer than 2 to 3 days.
Got turmeric in there, right?
Yeah, that goes in hot, hot.
Okay.
Well, you can make your own recipes, but I put turmeric in everything.
All
And then
right.
I did my, because I do my own, ginger shots, the ginger turmeric
Okay.
shots with black pepper.
Mm-hmm.
I'll buy them if I absolutely have to, but I do them. So I drink them. Sometimes I'll sip it instead of taking it as a shot, which is what I did today. Because freaking, and hopefully I'm not getting strep throat.
Just
I pre-recorded all the shorts, thank God. So and that was so weird because I thought I should. You know what? I'm just gonna do them all. I'm gonna do them all in one shot, and I did them all in one shot, and then a day and a half later, I wake up and my throat is on fire today. I was totally fine yesterday. I went to bed, totally fine. And this smoke, because
like
where I am in
this?
Ontario, guys. No, that's smoke. That's the good smoke. In Ontario, where I am, guys, I'm south, so I'm near the border, near New Jersey, New York, and we are. It is yellow outside from the wildfire smoke from the
There was
northern
some
Ontario.
big fight. Like, is there Windsor or something had fires?
That's it. It's coming. It's
Okay.
not like it's coming down to us, and it hit where I live about mid-afternoon.
Mm.
But when you woke up this morning, it was hazy, and then when I went out for lunch, you could smell it.
Mm.
And it's hazy and it's yellow and orange and there's like soot on cars. It's awful. And that just aggravated the coughing that I had when I woke up this morning.
I don't like
So,
it when it gets like that.
no.
But anyhow, we are here.
Anyway,
We're here for
we are
today.
here. I am here. And I cut a lot of readings because I was scared that I was going to lose my voice before the
Mm.
recording. And I
And,
didn't want to
and
do
I
that.
want to tell you, this is episode 48. You put
Thank you.
in the thing
Is
that the
it?
last episode was 48. So I was like,
Oh,
where's
was that?
47? So this is 48 today.
Yeah. And last week was 47,
Yes, so you
right?
have to correct that
When that just went.
in your little thing if you
Okay.
can.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for telling me.
I just thought in case people are confused because they see it. Maybe see
I
it.
probably will be confused.
You never
But
know.
actually, you reminded me to check our count. I didn't check our count since I left work like 5 hours ago. What is our count?
No, I didn't know.
On it is 416 subscribers on YouTube.
Nice.
Yay!
Chester's even getting
Uh,
up and dancing.
Poor guy. I won't let him outside for longer than 5 minutes because of this soot. So he's like
Yes.
pouting. But yeah, I am very excited. I just don't have the energy, but I am so excited in my mind. I just can't. I don't have the energy to be as excited as the last couple episodes, but I am.
Yes. So
I am.
welcome to
Yeah.
Spirit Cafe Sessions with Still Kim, and
Just Nikki.
there you
Oh,
go.
we back. Oh,
I took it.
that's weird. That was like you just totally you know what you did? You shifted timelines by that.
There we go. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it's a good one where you're not sick.
I swear to God. I have to go to a night festival on Friday, so I don't want to be sick.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
I pulled for the card of the week, and I laughed when this card came out because it's the Four of Wands. It is the week that Mercury retrograde ends, and this Mercury retrograde for so many people was so rough. It was so rough, and because it was in the sign of Cancer, it was so emotional. People, I felt so bad for a lot of people because there were so many breakups and there were so many separations and so much misunderstanding. So, my lovely people, if you're one of these individuals who have went through something like this is the week most likely. There's going to be a lot of things that clear the air, a lot of coming back together, a lot of communication, a lot of celebration. So if this past July was just a big like dumpster fire for you, first of all, it was a dumpster fire for a lot of people, so you're not the only one. This is where things will slowly start cleaning themselves up and you're going to feel much better.
Nice. Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. Perfect.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. this episode. Kim, you want to tell them what it is?
Well, we are going to talk about something that you may or may not think about consciously, but we're going to talk about why humans search for meaning.
I love that, because we do.
And, this is something that every human being here wrestles with, whether it's, whether they're spiritual, whether they're not, if they're religious, if they're skeptical, or anywhere in between. Doesn't matter who you are. I would say you've at some point or other have kind of searched for meaning. Meaning, what's the meaning of your life? What's your meaning? And we're the only, I think, probably species that wonders, like, how do I survive? Why am I here? I don't think you see anything out trying to, live or whatever. Or to
there's no deers trying to find their
why
life's
why am
purpose
I
or
alive?
meaning behind
What's the
beds.
purpose of my life? Does anything I do matter? You don't see your dog isn't thinking that. Like Chester doesn't think that. My dogs don't.
No.
But
I mean, Chester might be thinking it now because he's sad.
why
he's
am
not
I
going
here? I
outside.
can't be outside.
I know.
But this is also a question that has basically spurred the philosophers, scientists, artists, mystics, everyday people since the beginning of time. And that's because the human mind has been wired to ask why. From the moment we're children, those of you who've been around children, whether you've had them or not, you get those questions. Why is the sky blue? Why do people die?
Yep.
Why do bad things happen? Why,
It's true.
what, why am I, this color or whatever, right? Like everybody is asking these questions.
We become wired for curiosity. We're very, very curious race. I would say, and a lot of us are wired for it. I think that sometimes society now, especially now, tries to kind of dumb us down and not have us ask why, kind of mute the most important questions in life, like what's the meaning of life? What's my life purpose? You don't see that anymore unless you're part of specific, I guess, communities or industries. Like if you're very much so in, the spiritual community, like me and Kim, we see that question all the time. We get that question all the time. But I see that I feel like those are two very important questions for humans. And it's nowhere. It's nowhere. And I do feel like Kim is right. Like we're meant to ask why. We were taught to ask why, and we're moving into a society where we're now being taught not to ask so many questions and not to.
Well, and
Which is a shame.
and as we get there, it doesn't matter who the questions that come up, like why did this relationship end? Why did my so-and-so die? Why did this happen to me? And it's because our brains are set out, like they're amazing pattern finding, like little workers. And we are naturally looking for connections, for like the cause, effect, to help us predict, the future, or to give us a sense of stability as to where we are at that point, or where we are at that point in time,
Yeah.
Maybe if I didn't do this would be, because this whole world often feels unpredictable. So we're always trying to find something that, we can predict. We feel more comfortable when we know where we're headed. We feel more comfortable when we feel secure. As soon as something goes off, most people start to get a little bit, like it's almost like it's a little shaky before the wheels come off, right? So you have to you're trying to figure out what's going on. But
We feel safe if we know the meaning of why something happened. It makes us feel safe, right? And I can understand that. And I think that's one of the reasons why we look
yeah,
so hard, especially after what you just brought up, two very good ones. Why did this person die? Why did this relationship end? We look for meanings behind that. Why did I lose my job? Why did I get evicted? Like we look for meanings behind that because we're trying to make it make sense. And I think that it does work on a psychological and spiritual level for a lot of people, because how many people still believe that there's a plan for everything. There's fate. There's destiny. That it calms us down. I think there's something with our nervous system that calms us down,
Yeah.
right? If we're looking at the meanings for these things, I absolutely agree with that. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
having a meaning, having like a knowledge, your purpose, and that helps us survive. You know,
yeah.
that's what helps us survive.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
people can endure the most incredibly difficult circumstances if they believe that there is meaning in that experience. And
Yeah.
psychologists have
True.
come with that. How many people, it doesn't matter how bad something is, if you know that, it's going to work out, you can get through it. And, it doesn't, just to have meaning, it doesn't erase the pain of things. It doesn't make your grief disappear. It doesn't explain the tragedy, but it can transform your suffering from something that is, simply happens to us into something that becomes a part of our growth and a part of our life story of who we are. Um,
That
you know,
you remind me of something. There was because we all know I'm a little bit of a nerd, but there was a psychologist. He was it was during World War II. Viktor Frankl. He was an Austrian psychologist, and he was in the camps. And I stumbled upon. Well, I learned about him in university when I was in psychology. But and that was when I realized that what the purpose of life was. What's the meaning of life? And he's the one, I think, who honestly cracked the code, because the meaning of life is love. That's it, period. Nothing else but love, because everything swirls around that emotion and that energy. And I only read a few of his essays and works. I've never read his books, but I remember learning about how when I believe it was his brother, I think his pregnant wife also died in the camps, and he hadn't known at that time, because they separated them, right? Of course. So he hadn't known. So his love, his memories, his desire for the future with his wife, for example, was so much alive while she was no longer here, but he didn't know that. And that that stopped him from wanting to end his life, because there was many times that he wanted to just not be around because of what was going on and what was happening to him at the camp, or even what he was seeing. He thought it was too much, but he had that meaning. Like, he felt, no, I have to live. My life has meaning. I have a wonderful wife. She's going to have a child. Unfortunately, none of that happened, but it's not that he didn't suffer. He did suffer greatly after that, but that was when he realized that the meaning of life is love, because that's what gives us meaning. That's what helps us push on. That's what helps us sometimes find meanings behind lessons. And he's the one that like I said, that I learned, in a sense, what I think is the purpose of life is through his stories and his teachings, because I found, and you dive into it. I'm not going to go into it. I didn't even pull any of it up to talk about it or to read through it for you guys, but please do Google, because it's what happened to him is so fascinating. And I believe he cracked the code to what the meaning of life is, which is love.
And this is not just romantic love. This is,
Oh,
the
no,
love
no,
of a
absolutely.
family member,
Yeah.
a love of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you have
Love of
someone
life.
standing on the other side, you're going to keep going. And when you've gone through these experiences, that's when you're gonna, learn, oh, like, I've learned compassion because of this, or I've learned, um,
How strong I am.
yeah, like something that's
Yep,
changed you.
yep.
And then that's when something shifts inside of you,
Yeah.
you know?
It's true, though. It's true.
Now, with spiritualism, which is the religion that I'm a minister of, we actually believe that there's more to us than bodies, right? So, as you know, we're worried, or we know about our souls. We're souls having a human experience, they'll say, or
I love that quote. That's one of my favorite things ever.
yeah. And so, if that's true, then our lives aren't just random collections or events, right? And they're
There's no such thing.
opportunities for learning, loving,
Oh,
forgiving, and growing. And this doesn't mean that every painful learning, whatever happens, was meant to happen. Okay.
Right.
Was somehow, it's not, oh, well, like I just absolutely detest people who say everything happens for a reason. Have a friend who has lost their child and tell me that that happened for a reason. It does not. It happens. It's a lesson. And it's not a reason. There's no reason why, a mother or a father should lose their child. But as we all know, life still puts in free will. Human choices, accidents, uncertainty, but spirit teaches us that even in life's hardest moments, having healing and the purpose can emerge.
Yeah, I love that because it's true. If you stop to think about it, it's true. Just go back and think about your own experiences. That's how that connects.
Well, and sometimes we don't really realize how something has changed us or we've learned a lesson until years later. You could be sitting here and then all of a sudden go, oh my gosh.
I love when that
That's
happens.
what this happened. I can tell you there's several things in my life that have happened that, decades later, I'm like, you know what? If that hadn't have happened, okay, I see why that happened now. Because I know if every single thing that happened to me didn't happen, I wouldn't be sitting here right now doing what I'm doing and be the person that I am. And I'm quite proud of the person that I've become and what I'm here for. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you know what? I bet that we probably don't even understand fully while we're here. It can be something that once we've crossed over into, the next realm, then we'll be like, oh, okay. And that's okay. You don't have to have answers for everything. You don't have to see life as something that's a completely Googleable experience, right? I think life was a lot better back in the day when we just came upon things and learned things opposed to needing to have the gratification of instant answers.
I like that.
Everybody's looking
piecing
for
it together.
Yeah. You're just, you have to know everything. And there's just something so freeing in not needing to have the answer to everything.
Yeah.
And, one of the hardest things people experience feeling that is when they feel life has lost its meaning, when you've lost someone who's passed away that you loved, you've had an illness, you've had divorce, a betrayal, you built your dream business or something and it's falling apart. And then it's only natural for people to say, what's the point of all this?
I like that. It's true though. But that's true.
And
we do that.
It's very important people know that this isn't a weakness. Like this, to be searching for this isn't a weakness. It's evidence that your soul is searching and reaching for the answer.
Yeah. So it can evolve, so it can grow and it can learn. That's why you're here. That's why you're here, is to learn the meaning behind things and your purpose, your life purpose. I actually had somebody ask me this and I didn't know how to answer it. Maybe I should wait till the end of the episode. No, but I already have a question for the end of the episode. I'm going to ask it anyway. No, it's okay. Somebody once asked me, and this was recent too, maybe the last month or two. Mm-hmm. They were like, Nikki, do you think we have more than like one life's purpose? Because they're coming to me for readings about their life purpose because they're confused. So they asked me if I thought that they ever had more than one life purpose. And I have never, ever thought that before until he asked me that question.
I would say yes, because if you have accomplished something, you're not going to stay stagnant. So many people are, it could, you could think that this here is, this is the meaning and you got it. But maybe it has catapulted you to another spot where you're really going to find out what it is. And it doesn't necessarily need to be the same, it's not a one and done, your contract's done and away you go. you know?
Yeah, because the whole thing behind the purpose is people assume they only have one purpose in life.
Hmm.
And this individual, this client, he's a philanthropist. I can say that, and he knows what his purpose in life is. Part of it is to help people and those less unfortunate. But he's leaning towards something else, and that's when he asked me. He's like, "Do you think I could have two purposes in life? Can you have two purposes in life?" And to be honest, I looked at him and I said, Bob, I almost said his real name. To be honest, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never thought about it before. But I did say it would be cool if we could, or if we did. But it makes sense. You fulfill one.
Yeah.
It leads you to something greater.
Because you're growing. You're always growing.
Yeah.
And you can maybe at some point realize that the first purpose was just a drop in the bucket as to what you're opening
to lead
yourself
you
to
to.
from there. You know,
Okay. All right, yeah.
because it's not always, your purpose isn't something you're going to go find under a rock. You're going to, suddenly find behind door number 2.
If it was so easy.
Yeah, like this isn't, like Price is Right or something. Oh, you won, now you got it, right? What's behind door number 2?
Spin the wheel.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Let's see what you got. But sometimes it's, something that we create, right? So acts of kindness,
I love that.
moments of forgiveness.
Yes.
Times we choose compassion over being bitter, being holding grudges. You decide to have compassion. These choices, those choices to do those things can also become part of the meaning.
I love that.
And I don't know, I think a lot of these things I find come from signs as well, right? Like you'll be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And many people, like we've talked about before, we've had episodes or whatever, but many people get signs from their loved ones. A lot of people will say, hey, if I'm doing the right thing, can you do this? Or, you're not going to have all of the answers, but maybe spirit will give you a reassurance, that, oh, you're on the right path. Because what's better than knowing you're on the right path for what you're looking for?
That little nudge, that little push from spirit is all that we need.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you brought in the signs thing, because that's true. Because how many times we look for, we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Show me a sign if I'm meant to text this person, or show me a sign if this person is, around. We always go back to the signs. Another thing, because we as a human race, we are looking for meaning.
Yeah.
We are looking for meaning, and we are looking for the evidence that there's something greater than us out there.
Absolutely. When have you been possibly driving, trying to figure out if you are on the right path for something, and a song starts playing that totally connects you to someone or something that makes you go, oh my gosh, years ago, like we're probably talking at least 20. And I remember my dad was quite ill, and at the time they thought he had pancreatic cancer. And so he was in the hospital, and I don't, if you know anybody who has pancreatic cancer, a lot of times that the prognosis is only months or even weeks. And so he was in the hospital, and I would go and see him. And I remember, oh my gosh, my neck hurt so bad because I was just so tense, and, just life was going on. And as silly as it is, on the radio came, "We're here for a good time, not a long time." And that just that song just,
I would have laughed out loud.
but it just,
Excuse myself.
no, but it really made me realize, oh gosh, for some reason that song, right, just pulled me in, he's still with us, but it helped me release, the fear of what was happening. You don't like that song?
No, I'm laughing, but if I can feel myself wanting to cough, so I was trying to control it, and I let out a little cough. But anyway, because it's funny, because it's I would have laughed if my family would have kicked me out, because I would have laughed. I'm gonna be honest. They would have been like, "Get out."
Well, I just thought okay, this is, the song just, for me at the time, it just brought me comfort.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have
And you
to.
know what? You know why this is such a good story? Because oftentimes this is what spirit does.
Mhm.
It's not always so serious.
No.
Spirit has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And it does mess with us in that kind of way, especially when it's like, oh my God, you got to lighten up down there. Like, this was like a perfect example of that. I
Just
loved it. I'm sorry. I've never heard that story from Kim. Did you just fall?
my chair. Jeez Louise, man. You know what? It was totally fine for how many weeks or episodes, and then all of a sudden you bring it up, and all of a sudden it's
Because
just like,
it was
bang,
me.
you
It was
did
me. I
it
know.
to
I'm
me.
sorry.
But
Okay, sorry.
whether your views are, you have these experiences, spiritually or psychologically, they remind you that there's something greater than ourselves,
Yeah.
right? And that reminder to know that there is something greater, that, there is, you're here for a good time, like
Hmm.
whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
that can restore hope,
Yeah.
and a reminder to, enjoy what you have with what you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
And there's nothing, I feel like sometimes people question when something happens in life and they're looking for the meaning behind it. Like Kim had brought up, somebody passed away unexpectedly in your life. You're looking for the meaning behind it. And something happens and you see it as, okay, this was the reason why. Um, we oftentimes find ourselves questioning it, or questioning even our life purpose. If the first thing that you feel is telling you what the meaning behind that was, go with it. Don't question yourself, especially if that thing brings you comfort. If that meaning behind what happened to you or what happened to someone around you, whatever it was, brings you some comfort and peace, then that's the meaning. End of story.
yeah,
Right? We question. We gotta, like, it's great that we're so curious, but we have to know when to stop questioning it and just accept it, so that the lesson is learned and we can just peacefully, keep evolving and growing.
and your purpose doesn't have to be something huge.
Oh
You
yeah,
don't have to be
absolutely not.
changing the world. You don't have to write a bestseller or, create some big legacy that everybody's going to talk
Mm-hmm.
about for centuries after, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can be something as, simple as you can make somebody laugh,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
you're with a friend and you just hold their hand,
Mm-hmm.
listening to someone without judgment,
Mm-hmm.
sharing a story that somebody might connect with,
Yeah.
saying, I love you. Like, the soul doesn't
Yeah.
measure success the way the world does.
No.
Um,
I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because everybody, when they think about purpose, that's what they think.
hmm,
They think, my purpose is to, be a doctor. My purpose is to, have a, Fortune 500 company, like you had said. Now, sometimes our purpose is just to open a small daycare center in our community. Sometimes our purpose is just to run a bakery. Sometimes our purpose is minimal to us, but that minimal action actually ripples to something bigger in the community around us or the people that we're connected to. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because so many people, they think of life's purpose and they go straight to that it's got to be something huge. They got to be on billboards. Sometimes your life purpose is small, and that is equally important, because you cannot underestimate kindness and compassion, because
well,
we don't have much of it.
absolutely. So sometimes the greatest purpose is simply just showing up with love.
Yep. Yep. It's very true.
You know,
It's very true.
um,
To me, that's the most important purpose. I'm just
hmm
going to say it.
hmm
That's because I believe the meaning of life is love.
hmm
That is the most important purpose to me, is love, compassion, everything under that umbrella. 100%.
And again, it's not just romantic love. So many people just see love as romantic love. It's not. And if you've had grown up even in a family where love wasn't really shown, or in big ways, maybe people didn't
Hmm.
say I love you, maybe they didn't have big grand gestures, maybe it was something simple as, let me know when you get home, or here, I made you your favorite treat, or whatever, right? Like, those are love. And so we have to learn to not just assign somebody's love for you by what you expect for them to do for you. like, oh, I need them to say I love you like 18 times a day, and I need to have big grand gestures, and you need all that. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, so you got to look at how people individually will show you that, show their love.
Hmm.
So I have some things that I here to think about for this week.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I don't have to answer, right?
No, 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 no,
Because my throat's already,
no.
and I
This
gotta save
is
it for the
this
question.
is for
Sorry,
us. This
guys.
is something to think about for this week. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I want everybody to think about
Homework.
this.
I like homework, so it's
This is homework. So, and when you see the episode after you're done, maybe if you want to put it in comments, chat. Okay.
oh yes,
Y-
please.
Love that.
We're getting comments. We're getting anyway.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome. So,
Okay, go.
so here's something to think about this week. What gives your life meaning today? Today, right now, not 5 years from now, okay? Not when everything is perfect, but today, okay? Who makes you feel alive?
Oh.
What moments bring you peace? What gifts are you sharing with the world, even if they seem ordinary? So, meaning often reveals itself when we stop chasing extraordinary moments and
Yes.
start appreciating the sacredness
Yes.
of the ordinary ones. So, do that. Now, what gives your life meaning now? Right? How it is in the raw, just today.
My tea. Today, my tea.
And that makes you feel alive. Or,
Yes,
well, you
it
gotta,
does.
who makes you? So, yeah, who makes you feel alive? What moments bring you peace? And what gifts, are you sharing? Let us know. Um,
I have to say something. I like that you said, even if you think the gifts are ordinary, because how many people poo-poo their own gifts?
Oh, yeah.
Drives me nuts. Drives me nuts when people do that about themselves. That is that's on my top 5 pet peeve list, is when people like downplay their gifts
oh, yeah. Well,
because they're not as strong as someone else's, or
so
they're
many
not as
people,
oh,
it's that same thing, like with mediumship and everything else, for the longest time, people would say, I'd see people with all these gifts, like whether they, some people can knit and crochet, and some people can draw, and some people can paint, and some people can sing, and I love music. So, I just, all these things, I kind of like, oh, I wish I could do things like that. And I always thought like I was less than because I didn't have any talents. And I would say that I don't have any talents. I can't do anything. I
don't
got
say
nothing.
that.
But this is what I grew up to believe. And it wasn't until I started stepping into the ordinary things that I do that I actually started to be like, oh, you know what? I do. I do have skills. I'll say like I have
Yeah.
skills. There are skills that I've learned and that I have, and you should never ever, you know, minimize it because maybe I think it's ordinary, but maybe somebody else kind of finds it extraordinary,
Exactly.
right?
That's exactly it, though. Yeah.
Like, how can you do that? Just like, I'm like, oh, wow, you can do those things. People could be doing the same thing for you. So, and by brushing it off as just ordinary can sometimes maybe even be hurtful to other people because they'll be thinking, well, like, that's so great. I can't do it. So like, does that mean I'm not good enough? It's just people just are too, I don't know, easy to just compare themselves with other people when
Yeah.
we're so different on every
Yeah.
level.
It's true. And we do that. We do that.
And by sharing those, that's love too, that's part of your love.
Mhm.
And you don't have to know your entire purpose to live a meaningful life.
Yeah. Absolutely not. I don't. That's another thing I believe. You can go through this life without finding out what your purpose is and still be notoriously happy. I don't think that it's some weird prerequisite to something. Okay, I'm sure there are so many people that they never find out what their life's purpose is in a way, and then they pass away so peaceful and so content with the life that they have. Because at the end of the day, the life purpose, it doesn't matter as much as how you felt right, about your life and the way that you lived it and how you connected and how you loved. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe your purpose is to not have all the answers.
That's right. That's right.
You know, maybe it's the purpose is to become more fully yourself while remembering, that love is thread throughout your entire journey. You know, you build it like one relationship at a time, one act of kindness, one lesson, one moment of courage. How many times, have you heard or even yourself had like some moment that you took like all you could and had all the courage you could to do something and it changed
Yeah.
everything.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Do you think that we have more than like we have a or do you think we have a different life's purpose with each life?
Absolutely.
I think
Because
so too.
from what I believe, when you come here, when you leave, you come back and you're like, okay, now I did all this, and this, and I've talked about it before. I think we try to get all the easy ones done first, right? So you go back
Yes.
there and it's time to pick your lessons again. Well, you're not going to get the same lessons this time.
Mm-hmm.
So things are going to be different. So your
Mm-hmm.
purpose is going to be different because you have different lessons that you're here to learn.
Yeah, to learn. Yeah. Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I just think to become fully yourself, like when we talk about love, I think for a lot of people, your life purpose is going to start with having unconditional love for yourself.
Yes.
Because you're not
Yeah.
going to have it, you're not going to get far if you can't appreciate maybe your, ecce- um, eccentric, like when you're eccentric.
Eccentricity?
Yes, that word. Um, you're, if you can't appreciate all these little things that make you who you are and love yourself and don't minimize yourself or don't think, oh, well, people are better than me because of this, how are you going, what purpose are you working on?
Exactly.
What meaning are you going
Exactly.
to have? And
Exactly.
how can you show love and fully, and I'm talking true, like truly unconditional love. How can you show true unconditional love to another person or another thing if you're not having that same love for yourself? Because if you don't know it yourself for yourself, you can't, no matter how hard you try, or how much you want to fool yourself or whatever you want to tell yourself, you're not going to be able to have that, show that kind of love for someone else because you don't understand it.
That compassion. Yeah. It's true. I believe in that. You can always tell um, if someone is truly compassionate with themselves based on how they are with other people.
You
You
know,
can always tell.
because you'll see these people who are, you know, always doing things for other people, and you know that they're not doing it for themselves, and you'll see it. It's almost like they're nervous when they're doing them, right? They're nervous when they'll be giving it kind of looking for reassurance because they need that to care about
Yeah.
themselves. They're not doing it out of love. I'm not saying that love isn't a part of it, but it's almost like a nervous little person. Oh, here you go, here you go, here you go, trying to get that. You see that's the difference. If
Yeah.
if you have love and true love for yourself, that won't be conveyed in that same kind of
Yeah.
way.
The energy's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you'll be like, here, and it'll be okay. It'll just be smooth, not that nervous. Okay, and then maybe somebody doesn't say thank you quick enough, or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, like they don't
Hmm. Hmm.
appreciate me, and then you spin yourself, and oh, I'm wrong, I'm bad, and then you're self talking, and when you're having that self talking about yourself, you're not loving yourself
That,
unconditionally either, are you?
no, you're not. You're not. You're absolutely not. I think that's a good point. I think that's a really good point that you brought up. We don't think about that. I didn't even think about it until you brought it up.
Well, it's just I've seen so many people like that, right? And it's sad. They're not happy unless they're got somebody else, you know they do stuff for other people, and it's not, they're not doing that really out of love. They're doing it out of fear because they
Yes.
want to be
That's what I think.
loved.
It's insecurities and fear. Yeah.
Because they can't love themselves.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't you can't outsource that. You love
No.
yourself, you can't
Yeah.
outsource that because every little hum ha, eye roll, whatever, you're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna lose it, right? So, like look how people lose their mind when they break up with somebody.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen if you outsource, your own self love to try to get it from other people.
It's true though. It's true. That's very true. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that a lot of people also confuse what meaning and purpose is. I feel like it's not that they don't go like you can't intertwine them, because sometimes, I mean, some meanings in your life will actually lead you to your life purpose, but those things are two very different things. And when we were talking about this episode, and I did actually start to do a little research before I got kicked out because the wildfires at my work, it's horrendous. So we, left. But there was something interesting that popped up that said that a lot of people sometimes get confused between what the meaning, like what meaning is and what purpose is, and that those are two different things that eventually collide into one thing, which I thought was so interesting, because then I started thinking, like how you brought up earlier, you're sitting there and then you get the meaning behind a situation that happened years ago or months ago, just hits you out of the blue like a brick, right? Or sunglasses in your case.
No, it was
Or what was
garage
it?
door
Oh, your
opener.
garage thing. Your garage door
Garage
opener.
door
Yeah.
opener.
Yeah. Um, and then so what I did in that moment when I was thinking, because I literally remember I sat back today, I was like, aha! I was like, that is very true. And then I started thinking about all these things I've realized over the last 8 months. I had a major transition, how it all brought me to where I was now. I was thinking career-wise, just so everyone's aware, and the pinnacle of my career, but how all these things had to happen and the meaning behind these things to bring. And then that's when I was like, wow, like, it's two very different things, because I think I was one of those people that just, when people talk about the meaning of life, I just immediately were like, oh, the purpose of life.
Mm-hmm.
But two different things until they collide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my tidbit. That was the 2 minutes of research I did today before we had to leave. But yeah, so I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And I wish I had a question that went with this episode, because I have on my notepad on my phone, I have all the questions that people ask me, so I was going through them.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't one about this.
Mm-hmm.
But so I picked one that has been on the list for a while that I kept meaning to ask, but I never did.
Right.
So are you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
I don't know why I didn't ask this in earlier episodes, because it's actually a really good question. But and this is from a client of mine. She wants to be anonymous. I always put, she wanted to know, and this was after she watched the Spirit Guide episode
Okay.
that we have. She wanted to know, do you guys think we share past lives with our spirit guide? As in, they were not our spirit guide in a past life, but perhaps our brother, our best friend, our father, etc. I was like, that's a question for Kim.
Well, your past loved ones, like even in this life, a lot of them become your guides. Like they'll be, like my grandmother, she's stepped right up. She's there all the time. If it's a past life, I think yes, you could have shared something, but my belief is that they would be much more accelerated in their journey. So they would have already ascended, because your main spirit guide is with you from the day you show up. So like when you're picking, they're one of the ones that are like, hey. So I do believe that they're somehow in your spirit group, but they have ascended so that they can, they've taken on the same job as you, right? Like you both went, okay, yeah, you, right? So that is how it starts. So yes, I think so. Just your main spirit guide isn't going to be someone you know here for sure, right? Because they're from the beginning. And so that's why, you know, with that spirit guide episode, I because I joke about it all the time. It's like, now that you know your spirit guide, now you got to start talking to them, because you've been ignoring them for how many ever years you've been alive.
True.
Right? So they've been there from the beginning. And so that's really what you just need to be, I guess, cognizant of, is that, you know, that this guide has basically gone all in right from the beginning. And they want you to succeed. So I don't know if that answers it good enough.
I think it does, because that's what she meant, like this, you know, spirit guide. Because were they ever, you know, somebody in a past life that was related to us, or we had a very, very special bond with? And it to me, it does make sense that your spirit guide is somebody who's ascended far more than you have. And then it makes me wonder, is there ever a chance that you yourself could become a spirit guide when you hit a certain, not level, because it's not a game,
when you've ascended? When you're not coming back here, absolutely. Like, I
like that idea a lot.
Truly believe that this is my last kick at the can. I truly believe that I will be ascending next time, so that, you know, then I don't know, maybe there's training, who knows what happens after this.
I mean, I would hope there's training,
just let you out random willy-nilly, here, you can go here, and it'll be like Oprah, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, like, who wants up? Hey, I'm ready, as you're like cleaning with food off your face, and you got half your laundry tagging behind you, and you're there. But yeah, like, I really do believe that that's my next step, wherever that is. So one of you in some other life might have me as your spirit guide. We'll see.
You'd be a pretty fun spirit guide.
It could
She'd
be like
probably mess with you guys. If one of our listeners, if you're one of the spirit, Chester wants you as a spirit guide. Kim's gonna mess with you. If Kim ends up being somebody's spirit guide who's listening to this, Kim's gonna mess with you. What?
Mine does.
That's why I know.
Remember, I told you the stories about how mine would, like, leave doors open and things like that.
Don't tell, because that's some of the stories you should tell for the 50th episode.
Okay.
Don't spoil it to the new listeners.
All right.
Those are good ones. They're funny.
Well, they're funny, yes.
Anyway, not really funny for Kim right away, but funny. Funny for you guys. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We really hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry that now I can't even say goodbye, because I'm starting to sound like a man.
You do not sound like a man whatsoever.
You're going to have to take over the goodbye.
But, so, do this homework. Put it in the chat. We are working for up to our 50th episode. We have put out there, we want your stories. Get us your stories. And we're going to talk about them, and we're going to read them, and we're going to kind of react, because it'll be probably the first time. I think you're just going to kind of do like a blind read too.
Yes, I'm doing a blind read. I've had 3 sent in already from clients. I did not read them.
Okay.
So these are clients I trust that have been with me for like at least 2 years, and they're, you know, 2 are on their spiritual journey. All 3 listen to the podcast.
Right.
So I've got 3, and I've got a couple of people that said that they've got some more, and some people asking their people. So everything's going to be a blind read. And yes, Kim and I will read or tell some of ours. I want Kim to tell her spirit guide ones, because they're funny.
Yeah, my spirit guide's a little bit of a weirdo. So we're all weirdos.
But, I mean, I think that it's a good stories for you to tell, so that people are like, it's not always so serious.
Oh gosh, no.
It's not.
I wouldn't be making it out live if I had to carry everything so seriously.
Yeah, and it's not scary either. That's why I think it's a good idea if you tell the stories again.
Okay.
But anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
So thank you for joining us. We are working. We're planning for 500. We've got the 200. So Nikki's working. She's going to be doing the draw, I guess, soon for the 200 for a mediumship reading with me. And we are working on something special for the 50th episode for those, but also for our 500. We're working at 500. We're getting not too. See, Nikki was like, "Oh, I don't think we can do it by the end of summer. We're going to do it by probably the end of this week or next week, tops."
I said I didn't think we were going to get it by the end of
The summer.
and you said that we're going to get it way before the end of July.
Mhm.
And it looks like you might be right.
I'm always right.
Because we're at like 420. I know. So we're at like 420 now. I don't know.
So thank you.
But
Keep sharing.
yes.
Keep sharing
Thank
with
you
people who might
guys.
want it. Subscribe. Put on the little bell so you get reminded to see
Please.
the new episodes. Comment. And if you go on Spotify, comment. Give us 5 stars. We deserve it. We're almost at 50 episodes.
I know. I know. We had 50 topics for you guys. We got to get a guest on here.
Yeah, we haven't had a guest for a while.
Yeah, we dropped the ball on that. That's our fault. We're gonna get a guest on here, maybe a few guests after the 50th episode.
And I'm so
for you
glad
guys.
that now that we're like close to 50, oh my gosh, that we're done with all the sound issues we had at the beginning.
Ugh.
Like the first 20 or so, we're like,
Changing to the system we're at now.
yes, night and day.
Was huge.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge.
So if you stuck with us, thank
Yes.
you. We appreciate that
Yay.
because it didn't
We
change the
do.
content, but it probably was a little hard to listen to sometimes.
Yes, it was frustrating. It's frustrating.
We would send
but,
little messages to each other.
oh,
Yeah.
thank you guys anyway. Thank you for
Mhm.
listening, and thank you for everybody who's new and subscribed. You have no idea how much we appreciate it, and all your likes and your comments and your shares. Keep it up because it really, really, really helps us out a lot.
Yes.
It does.
Oh, and I want to say, because of this contest, please don't let someone tell you that, oh, or come across as me saying, oh, you know what, I'm just going to give you a reading, but you have to give me money or whatever. Don't. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to approach anybody for readings. If you want a reading, you have to approach me, other than if we'll let you know when you win the reading. Okay. Whoever wins, we'll let you know. But we're not going to, other than that, we're not going to reach out and try to get you to come and get a reading from us.
Absolutely not. No, we absolutely won't do that. No.
All right.
Okay. Have a phenomenal week, guys. We
Mhm.
will see you next week, 2 weeks away from our 50th episode.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.